Everyone. Welcome to Insurance Time with Mike and Mike. My name is Mike Renick. I'm a broker associate, the lead broker, the team lead, the senior broker with Team Renick Real Estate Services, and a broker associate with that great Keller Williams on the water family. We're proud to be aligned with such great folks. With me today is Mike Mailliard. You met him last week. Mike is the broker owner of MIC Insurance based out here on the islands, and Mike is filled with plenty of great information. First of all, welcome, Mike.
Good to see you.
Glad to have you here. Thank you for taking time out of your schedule this morning. What I've asked Mike to talk about is internal water issues with a condo or a home, not coming in from a storm, but something like a pipe breaking or something internal. And Mike has agreed to share his thoughts. So if you'd go ahead.
Well, last week we covered the topic of wind-driven rain, which is water coming from the outside, hitting unbroken structure and penetrating and causing damage. Today we're really addressing water pipe leaks, which is the most frequent claim we have here in Florida. A little bit associated with our salt water climate, but indeed exacerbated by our seasonal owners. Many companies, in an effort to reduce their water exposure, are now limiting water damage coverage to zero on homes over 40 years old, and then they offer a $10,000 buyback. Now, what that really means is that if I have a water leak in my upstairs bedroom and it floods my home, I have $10,000 total of coverage to pay that potential $100,000 bill. That is bad. We're also seeing companies that are offering that not just on older homes, but as a rule are excluding water damage and just offering the $10,000 cap. This is something that a consumer has to be aware of. This is the most common claim I pay by far. Last year I paid in the hundreds of claims from Irma via the wind-driven rain exposure, but I still had more water pipe leak claims last year than hurricane claims.
So when someone is limited at $10,000, are there any options to buy a different coverage?
The option is to buy a different company.
Okay.
Because quite frankly, there are still a small handful of carriers that are Florida-based admitted carriers that are offering that water damage coverage. They are very few. It is incumbent upon your agent to place you correctly with the right company that offers the right coverage. Now, the other twist that's entered the market, and this is as broad or more broad, so not applicable only to the older homes, but also to newer homes, is a 14-day water clause that reads something like this. If I have a water leak, whether visible or not, if I do not discover that leak or damage for more than 14 days, that loss is not covered. Now, that's a problem for me.
What happens in that case?
That means they have no insurance for that water loss. And so if they have a $100,000 leak that they did not find for more than 2 weeks, then they do not have coverage.
Is it easy to tell when the leak occurred?
Well, there are molds that take longer to grow, rust on surfaces. Some leaks are defined by a water bill where we see an increased tick in consumption where that water is actually going somewhere unintended. Many times my clients here are out of town for long periods of time. And the concept of having a leak from a shower pan on a second floor that may not be appearing down in the lower level for a month or more due to the 8-minute shower shut off.
Yep.
Okay, I'm not getting enough water to really make that problem so apparent. So to my mind, a client should be with a company that does not have those restrictions, period. Now, lastly, Michael, we do want to briefly talk about why companies are doing this. And it's really driven by water mitigation companies and the use of a power of attorney contract by water companies that basically, if signed by our insured, the water company becomes the legal insured. The client no longer has the right to contact the company. Now all contact has to go through the water mitigation company. They then have the right to handle the entire claim, including being your cabinet person, your countertop person. Now your water company is your flooring party.
So you've given up total control.
You've given up total control. Companies hate it. It is driving up expense, and they are running away from this risk as fast as they can. So there are reasons behind these limitations, but they are not required to have, because within the market, there are carriers who are not doing this.
So here's what I'm learning over the past few weeks. And I think it's being reinforced. I knew this for a long time. Insurance is a complex field.
Yes.
So you need to be dealing with a very reputable insurance company, but I think most importantly, you need a very reputable insurance broker. Not all brokers are created the same. And in terms of the knowledge we've demonstrated last week and this week in future videos, you want to make sure you've got the right coverage. So the last conversation I want to have with my insurance guy is, why wasn't I covered? Does that make sense?
Well, I mean, philosophically, my goal is to bring you a check, not an apology.
Yep,
because in fairness, an educated client is the best client. We provide, if I do not have an option that is, inclusive of all the coverages that I want, I'm going to tell the client, or I may present two policies, price X, price Y. This one has the coverages I want. This one does not. What do you want to buy?
That makes sense. So it's all about making sure, because when we procure insurance, we don't even know the options. We don't know the questions to ask.
And these questions really did not apply until about a year and a half ago. These changes in the industry have been relatively new and fast. So 1/1/17 was a red letter day in the Florida insurance market, because many endorsements were then filed that reduce coverage for customers. We have to adapt.
Absolutely. So you have to stay on top of your game.
In our business, it's all about, it used to be about the company and their ability to pay. That is still true. But now we've had to add, do they have the coverages so they are obligated to pay?
Anything else you'd like to add?
Water is a pain. The biggest water damage claim in a frequency sense is the feed line to your toilet tank. It will run from a metal shutoff to a metal line to a plastic fitting. My best advice would be to have a plumber replace all of those lines, metal all the way, including a metal fitting that attaches to the toilet tank. I have that particular exposure would be 80-ish% of all my water claims, of which I have one a day.
Excellent advice. I appreciate
Very
that.
good.
Mike takes his time to share these kind of things in the hope to educate you, but also to make sure that if you hadn't thought about these things, we start thinking about them. So my personal thanks, Mike, for being here again.
You're welcome.
We look forward to hopefully having you back again next Friday if your schedule permits, and we'll talk about a different topic.
I'm hopeful.
Thank you, Mike.
Thank you.
Thank you.